Emily, and I'm back with another video. So if you're new to the channel, you might be wondering who I am. My name is Emily. I'm an entrepreneur, a musician, a gardener, and I like to help empower people and help them improve their lives. So that's who I am, here to serve you in whatever way I can. I also have a pretty wealthy knowledge of health and wellness stuff, so that will be coming up much for sure in the future episodes, as well as gardening and permaculture stuff as I can, because again, I've probably mentioned, but I live in Vermont and it's getting into the cold season. So I'm not really sure how much I'll be able to film outside. Having said that though, I did invest last year in a grow light. So actually I will be able to show off some things this year. I'll be able to do some indoor growing. And in point of fact, I might invest in a few more so that if I can get a little indoor setup, that would be ideal. So anyways, without further ado, let's jump into this video, shall we? What do you say? Hey, let's do it. Okay, so you're probably wondering, well, okay, so hit me with some of these things. How can I improve my life? What can I put into a morning routine? Well, tip number one, wake up early. Now I know, there's a bunch of you out there going, for frick's sake, Emily, I don't want to get up at 3 or at 4 or even maybe at 5. Maybe you're allergic to 5 a.m. I know I thought I was. But let me just give you a small piece of encouragement. Ever since I started to implement like a routine where pretty much the latest that I get up is like 6 or 7 in the morning, it really has helped. I get so much more done in the morning than I ever did before. Not to mention, it's hard to adjust to at first, but listen, if you start going to bed on time, which will take you a little bit of adjustment, but if you start to set your bedtime at whatever time feels comfortable for you, ideally you want to try to go to bed. Really, I mean, if you're an adult, you really need like at least 6 hours. They say, I think even technically you're supposed to have 8, but for me personally, a lot of my family doesn't sleep very much. We just don't. And so for me, 6 hours is fantastic. So I'll take that any day. But anyway, ideally you want to go to bed between like 10 and 12 really at night, because if you don't, it's not that anything like catastrophic is going to happen. However, your body, I believe it's between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. actually gets its most restful REM sleep or whatever. I'm not sure if that's exactly scientifically correct, but your best quality hours of sleep are between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. So if you're not already asleep during those hours, you're kind of screwing yourself out of the best, most rejuvenating sleep that you would get. So my first big tip is seriously, start to wake up early. Now I know it's going to be hard, but I'm telling you, getting up early will just, suddenly you're going to feel like, oh gosh, where did all these hours come from? Your day begins to feel really, really long, which is actually a blessing because it gives you so much more time to do whatever you want. That way you can also do what you need to do for like a job or for work or whatever you do to bring in income. You can do that in the morning or whatever portion of the day you allot, but preferably the morning. And then you have the rest of the day to like have fun or do whatever if you want. That's the beauty of it, in my opinion. I'm someone who likes to enjoy life, so I don't like to slave away and spend a whole bunch of hours at, when I have to do work or whatever. What I consider to be work, which is pretty much anything that I'm not super passionate about, I guess. So anyway, the first tip is get your butt up early. Try to aim for, it depends on how ambitious you want to get, really. You do not by any means have to get up at 3 or even 4, like really. But I would suggest personally the best times I've found really that are kind of like reasonable, whatever, is 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. is sort of the best time. Although lately I've been getting up at even 4 and it's actually been feeling fine. So I just encourage you as early as you can make it. It actually really helps if you can adjust. If you're in a time zone like mine where, or perhaps even more severe and intense, is like if you're in a place like, I think it's Finland and like Norway, where they're basically in darkness for half of the day. That's hard to adjust to, so I can't really speak to how that would be for that. However, for most folks who have a morning and night cycle that's a little more normal, not based on 12 hours exactly, you guys know what I mean. But it works better. So if you have a good portion of the day, and you, like I said, you'll find, for me, it's harder in the winter because it's dark so much of the time, and in a place like here, the sun doesn't really come out a lot in the wintertime, which can get kind of depressing. I personally think I might have a little touch of seasonal affective disorder, but anyway. All right, so tip number one, wake your butt up early. I know you're gonna hate adjusting to it, but trust me that when you finally do adjust to it, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, where did all that productivity come from? It's beautiful. So now the second thing that I do after I wake up and so I get up early, that's the first thing I do. And the second thing I typically do is I have a little prayer ritual that I do, not anything crazy, and just really simple. And then I usually go ahead and go meditate. And I would highly suggest to any of you who have these, what my crowd likes to call monkey mind, which just means you're like, blah, 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 blah. You know, I sometimes also call it Rolodex mind. It's just that mind when, you know, your mind is just going. And you can't, I mean, you can stop it, but it's very, very difficult to like slow your thoughts. Now, if the second thing you do in your morning, besides getting up, is to go and meditate, it'll slow down your thought processes. And I know, again, a lot of people kind of roll their eyes at meditation, but I can't tell you how vital of a tool for just being a human it is. It calms your nervous system, it calms your mind, it allows you to develop your imagination down the road. You know, like there's so many benefits to meditation. In fact, I probably will at some point do an entire video just on my experience with meditation because it's been transformative. Like it actually saved me from my first breakup. I mean, legitimately, I sort of just rant anyway. That's a story for another day. We will tell that story, but we'll tell it on the meditation video. So first thing is wake up early. And the second thing is please consider meditating. Now, I was going to say is that even if you start out with a couple of minutes, that's fine. Or even if you start out with one singular minute, it depends on how new you are to meditation. If you're brand new, start small. Start with literally like 1 minute of quiet thoughts. The idea of meditation is that you want to observe your thoughts but not engage. Basically what happens with the human mind is that the minute we take in a sense with our senses, the minute we get audio input or we have visual input, you know, then there's immediate dialogue from our mind. And the practice of meditation is to slow down your mind and to slow down your thoughts and even slow down the images that are coming through your head and stop that Rolodexing that I like to refer to it as and stay really calm. So if you can do that at the second thing you do in the day, if that's meditation and you can just wake up, go meditate. It's also important because it's one of the best times to meditate in the morning because one, you've just woken up and your brain is kind of in between switching modes where it was like in creative, imaginative overnight mode and now it's switching into like usually, which for us goes then crazy, is our crazy work mind, our monkey mind kicks in and it's like brrr. So if you can slow it down at the get-go, I really can encourage you, this sets you up for a fantastic day. Like your whole day will be much, much more, you'll be able to respond rather than react to most things in your environment, or I find that I do, and I really think it will help you. So the last tip is going to be rather self-explanatory, I would hope, to most of you. And most of you have, well, I think a lot of us know by now that this is important, but I want to echo it because it is so important. So after you've gotten up early and you've done your meditations, you know, you could work, but the next thing I would personally suggest, and you can, you know, figure out when this is comfortable for you, but have breakfast. Now, the best breakfast that you could have, ideally, would be fruit juices or a juicy fruit itself. So you, or actually any fruit, really. Preferably juicy fruits, but really you can have any. Bananas, I often have bananas and apples in the morning. Sometimes I'll have grapes and cherries. For me, it really depends what's in season. And I would also encourage you to eat the seasonal fruit because when it's in season, it means that you're not having two things really. It means you're not having to import those produce, bad English, sorry guys. And you don't have to import the produce. And what's the other benefit? You get a lot of water into your system. All fruits have a lot of water, and you may know that we are like 75 or 80% water, I believe they said about humans. Actually, most things on Earth are either empty space or water. Isn't that an interesting fact? Anyway, so eat breakfast. The best thing you can have, the reason that breakfast is named as such is actually because the most ideal way to break your nighttime fast, hence the word breakfast, break the fast, is fruit juice and fruits. And fruits are one of the most digestible foods like on the planet, easily to digest. So like bananas are great, apples are great, grapes. I mean, really, I try to opt for the most juicy things I can in the morning if I'm going to eat fruit instead of juices. But in fact, even if you wanted to, even if you're not accustomed to having fruit in the morning and you're trying to transition, I would suggest perhaps maybe some like rice cereal with fruits. Words are hard. Rice cereal with some chopped up fruit thrown in there, for instance, if you like, I don't know, Chex with like oat milk and like strawberries or bananas. I sometimes like to do that. Again, I'm a vegan, so I do not ingest any animal products, nor milks, nor anything like that. I don't even eat honey anymore. I found out that honey is incredibly cruel to bees. You should look into it if you're interested in that sort of thing. I will not be eating honey anymore. At least commercial honey, you know, if you're gonna, this is just a little side tangent, just little like 2-minute sidebar here, but honey, commercial honey is actually excruciatingly terrible for the bees. It involves killing bees for no real reason and just an absolutely atrocious process. So if I can encourage you to do nothing else besides the morning routine in this video, I would say please stop eating commercial honey. I'm not talking about individuals with hives. That's sort of an individual issue in my opinion. That's down to the individual vegan to decide if they're okay with honey from hives or not. But what I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt is that if you look up commercial honey, it's terrible. It's horrendous. I literally cried watching the video because the commercial honey industry is so cruel. Sidebar done now, but look into it if you're interested because it's incredibly cruel. You would not have ever, I would have never thought that of all the things that could be cruel in the world, like honey. Anyway, just do your research. So without any further yammering, because I always seem to get tongue-tied at the end of these videos, let's just do a quick recap. The 3 really easy ways that you can implement a fantastic morning routine for yourself. Step 1, wake up early. Get up before the crowd. You know, I'm sure most of you have heard that saying, early to bed, early to rise makes a man or woman healthy, wealthy, and wise. Right? It's true. And it's because, I think, of the productivity that you get from that. Step 2, meditate. When you're still sort of, I forget if it's detransitioning, but whatever, you're coming out of theta waves. So your mind is pliable and also it's the best time to sort of get in there and calm your brain down. And last but not least, do eat breakfast. Eat something to get your brain like working. Our most basic source of fuel is fructose, which comes from fruits, which is why they're some of the best things you can eat in the morning, why fruit and fruit juices are some of the best things to start your morning off with and break your fast with. So with that, sorry guys, it's been a long day and you know, some of you know that I'm going through a bit of a challenge and that has made me have to record these videos at odd times and odd places and not my typical way. So I do apologize for that. I ask for your forgiveness, but I appreciate you guys all very much. Thank you. So I very much look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. It's probably going to be an ASMR. I'm going to try to either find a good story for you guys or possibly write one, but I don't know. My skills as a writer are kind of meh, so we'll see. But thank you guys so much for watching. If this video was helpful to you at all, do pass it along. But more importantly, implement these tips into your life and see how it changes things for you. And I would really appreciate it and love to hear if you've tried these. Let me know in a comment down below. Also comment, tell me what do you do in your morning routine. I'm very curious what other people do because you know what I've noticed is that a lot of people have a lot of very different morning routines. Even if you just look at celebrities or like big icons, they all have very different routines with, in my opinion, varying levels of health. Some of them very much not healthy, but anyway. I really hope these tips help you guys, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Have a fantastic week. Happy Tuesday. I was trying to think what day it was. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to try to bring you a cover soon, like me singing and playing guitar, a cover, I think. It depends how things go this week. As I have mentioned, I have to be a little bit sparse. Not a little bit. I'm basically in like my own self-imposed like witness protection right now. But that's okay. So I hope to see you guys very soon. I really hope this video was of some help to some of you, and I will be seeing you guys very, very soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and take care of yourselves. Stay safe, stay healthy. Make sure you eat lots of fruits and vegetables, preferably raw, but any fruits and vegetables, as much as you can. Pack them in because they're good for your immune system. And we're coming into cold season, so, you know, really anything that you can do. So get some ginger in there, some OJ. Mwah, it's so good. All right, guys, that's enough from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell because if you don't, you won't ever know when I upload a video. So thank you so much, and I will see you guys soon. Mwah. Goodbye.